For more NFL offseason coverage, you are in the correct spot. We're about to break down Mel Kiper's big board, but if you want more draft, free agency, trade, and everything else in between conversation on the NFL, hit that sub button right now. Mel Kiper has updated his latest 2025 NFL Draft Big Board. As always, we are here to break it down. The good, the bad, the interesting, the surprising, and whatever else fits the in-between category there. No surprise here at number 1, Travis Hunter, the wide receiver / cornerback, the top player on Mel's board. That has not changed. He had previous updates just a couple days ago, but it's all been pretty consistent with Hunter at number 1. Abdul Carter is at number 2. Certainly, if you weren't paying attention to him in the CFP, he was pretty darn good. He really got his game upgraded down the stretch this past season. And I think whether he goes 2, we'll see what the quarterback stuff is. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But Carter's got a real chance to be the first, if you count Travis Hunter as receiver or not, pure defensive player off the board. Michigan defensive tackle Mason Graham, number 3. He was a little bit down in terms of the production from a sack perspective. I would also point out Michigan not having to face a bunch of passing offenses with the way they were playing probably negatively impacted them. I think there is a drop-off after Hunter and Carter down to Mason Graham. Quarterback Shedeur Sanders, number 4. Mel has always been a fan of Shedeur. He also called him the locked-in number 1 pick this time a year ago when he went back to school. Which I never really bought. But he's accurate. He is an executor of your offense. If you want someone to do what the coaches want, to put the ball in the right place more often than not, he's very good at that. Does take too many sacks, though. And then Mel going 4 and 5, the quarterbacks here. Cam Ward out of Miami. Look, I'll be honest, I think the quarterbacks are getting the position bump here. I've got real concerns on both of them. Ward's got the gunslinger to him, and in a positive and negative way. Sometimes he holds the ball a lot longer than I'd like. There will be some reckless decision, but he's a creator in a way that Shedeur Sanders isn't always. There's different pros and cons to both guys. I think you can make real arguments for both of them to be the number 1 QB in this class. So pick your QB, S for Shedeur Sanders or C for Cam Ward. Let me know in the comments section, the pinned comment actually of today's show. If you had to take a quarterback in this class, who would it be? We'll make it the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, it's fine. Ignore it. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Another Michigan man coming in here at number 6. That is cornerback Will Johnson. Missed time with injuries. I am a little curious just how fast he tests. The toe injury is going to be a key part of his evaluation, but this is a really, really good cornerback prospect who I think was a pretty safe bet for a top 10 pick at minimum. Number 7 is Ashton Jeanty. Now, he might not go number 7 or higher. You'll see what the Raiders end up doing at quarterback if they can figure one out. They're a prime destination to take Jeanty. Incredible year for Boise State. Not the biggest guy, but incredible contact balance. Made guys miss. Had a great game against Oregon, by the way, against a good defense there. Positional value is a very valid question mark, but Jeanty is a very, very special player. McMillan, number 8, the wide receiver, kind of got some T. Higgins vibes. Where Higgins, especially his body control, is really impressive. McMillan moves better than you think for his size. Isn't actually as good in just straight up contested catch stuff, given his size. But he gets open, and I think he's a really, really clear cut potential wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 1 for this class. Jalon Walker, who is he's a bit of a tweener, if we're being honest here. I wonder if he's big enough to hold up full-time at edge, if he's overall athletic enough to hold up full-time at off-ball linebacker, like in coverage and stuff. Let him do both, frankly. I think he's at his best moving north and south, or specifically north. I would like to continue to find ways to do that. I think, you guys remember Jamie Collins? He's not quite as big as Jamie Collins. I think that could be what type of player you're getting. Number 10, Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle. There's some run game inconsistencies, but I think he does a pretty good job in pass protection more often than not, acknowledging that the Steve Sarkisian Texas offense kind of hides the offensive line a little bit more frequently. He didn't get beat very much, just really the 1 sack allowed in 15 starts. Will Campbell, There are times I don't love him at tackle, and I wonder if he's a better interior offensive line option. Of note, both Campbell and Banks are going to have to deal with potential arm length concerns as well. Today's show is made possible by Game Time. Game Time's got a new feature. It's called Game Time Picks. It makes getting tickets for events even easier. It filters out the fluff to only show you incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. It's curation to make it easier to find the better value on not just sports, but concerts, comedy, theater, everything else in between. Use the all-in pricing feature to see your total cost up front, so there are no surprise fees at checkout. Maybe the national game is a little bit too expensive for you. Okay, get it. Save the $20 and go to a concert, a comedy, a theater event with the wife or girlfriend, whatever. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms apply, but again, create your account, redeem code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. The link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. It's GameTime.co, promo code ChatSports. Go download Game Time today for last-minute tickets, the lowest price, all guaranteed. The very versatile Tyler Warren checks in at number 12, the number 1 tight end. Penn State's offense was getting the ball as much as possible, and good things normally happened. Tight ends can be a bit of a scary round 1 proposition since there is an adjustment period, but he's also really good. Number 13, Josh Simmons, the Ohio State offensive tackle. San Diego State right tackle was great for Ohio State on the left side. Did not allow a sack. Didn't get to play against Abdul Carter either. Got injured against Oregon. The medicals are key, but I think you're going to hear this phrase a lot. If he were fully healthy, he'd be the number 1 tackle in the class. The injuries make some questions there. Safety Malaki Starks out of Georgia. Now, Mel's just not a safety guy. He's never liked safeties very much. He always tends to knock those guys pretty far down. You saw it with Kyle Hamilton. If we go back and look at how he had Hamilton, graded and mocked coming out of Notre Dame. I think he's a really, really good football player, but there are valid positional value questions. Michael Williams out of Georgia again, back-to-back Bulldogs here. This is Trayvon Walker to me. Great size, listed at 6'5", 265. Really good athlete. The production hasn't been there. The comp there is easy for Mykel. There's another guy, by the way, we'll probably have a little Trayvon Walker conversation about too coming up here in a little bit. Another tight end, another Michigan man too, Colston Loveland, who I think is going to be mocked like the Chargers like every time. Loveland is more of a move tight end. He's able to push the ball downfield on seam shots and everything. He also was hamstrung by bad quarterback play at Michigan this year. So the numbers don't look very good. Shavon Revel Jr. out of East Carolina, another player who was viewed as a potential top prospect at the position before they got injured. Torn ACL, 3 games in. He was at Lewisburg College before transferring to East Carolina. Massive come up there for Revel. Walter Nolan, the former 5-star recruit out of Ole Miss. I little bit inconsistent in terms of the pass rush. Did have 6.5 sacks, but it was kind of a bit of a feast or famine at times, where he either got home and got the sack or didn't produce the same way I would like there. But did look a lot better than what we saw in his previous stops in college. Previous years in college, I should say. Who is your favorite player in the 2025 NFL Draft? Let me know in the comments section of today's video. Yeah, I mentioned the feast or famine. Walter Nolan had a sack and a half more than Derek Harmon for Oregon did. Derek Harmon had about double the pressures, however. So those types of things, big picture, certainly do matter. Both those guys are 300-plus pounds. Michigan State to Oregon transfer. This is a disruptive big boy on the interior, who I think is going to be in this kind of mid to late round 1 range. But it's a good DT class, so some might fall out of round 1. Campbell out of Alabama. This is he can run, he can blitz, he can cover, he can do a lot of different things for you. I've seen some buzz about people wondering if he's a linebacker or an edge. I just think he's a linebacker, maybe in that Anthony Barr type of mold, but I'd play him off ball first and foremost. I'm a little surprised Mel is as low on Luther Burden as he is. He is incredible after the catch. Now, the production was down this year. The Missouri offense in general was not particularly great. But Luther Burden, with what he's able to do after the catch, makes him a really impactful piece. I think it's like a number 2 receiver. A lot of teams could use that type of player. Nick Scorton was better at Purdue, not as good after transferring to Texas A&M. He's got a good frame, good size. He's listed at 6'4", 285. Sometimes I think had a bit of bad weight on him this year. He's a power rusher. But he and his teammate, Shamar Stewart, check in the top 25 here. Shamar Stewart's going to be it's a really tough one for me. The size is incredible. 6'6", 290. He moves incredibly well. He got plenty of pressures. He had 4 TFLs and a sack and a half this season. That was it. Over the course of his entire collegiate career, Shamar Stewart had 4.5 sacks. He never topped out more than 1.5 in a single campaign. So it's kind of like very different sizes and frames. It's like Odafe Owe. Like, hey, you're a great athlete. Why couldn't you produce? Why couldn't you get sacks? That's going to make him I think a tough valuation. James Pierce, the Tennessee edge rusher. I don't trust him against the run, and Tennessee didn't either. But pressures, kind of in that, maybe not as off the field laden Randy Gregory mold, Pierce has talent. Kenneth Grant, the other Michigan defensive tackle. Wait till the combine. We're putting him at 25 right now. When he puts up Jordan Davis type numbers, I would not be surprised if we're putting him back in the top 15 of mock drafts. This is a highly athletic football player who I still think has room to grow from a snap-to-snap consistency standpoint. Who did Mel Kiper leave off of his 2025 NFL Draft Big Board? Plenty of names I'm sure you want to see on there. Drop them for me in the comments of today's show. A couple of names I want to mention. Emeka Egbuka, I think, is a potential round 1 pick at wide receiver. I think he's worst case receiver 3. I know some of them at wide receiver 2, depending on where you count Travis Hunter as athlete, receiver / corner, whatever. Josh Connolly at Oregon could be a late round 1 pick. I think Armand Membu is... I would honestly question how far... I'll just outright say it. I don't think Mel's gotten to him yet. Because he's got him as the number 2 guard, but we've seen this before of Mel drastically changing something later on in the season. I would bet he's not fully done, at least, with Membu. Mike Green is the Marshall edge rusher who, the more I watch, the more I like, frankly. And I could see very much being a round 1 pick. And then Jahdae Barron at Texas. I don't know where he goes. I've seen pretty wide disagreements there. But he's got that dog in him and is a versatile corner. I am a big fan of his game.